Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm back. It's been a week or so, but I haven't deserted you. I just had some wisdom teeth taken out. So it's been a hell of a week, but I'm very excited to do my first podcast. It's episode 145 with the lovely Martha Mok. How are you, Martha?
I'm wonderful. So honored to be 145.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. It's always amazing to have such incredible guests. And today we're going to be talking about action is proof. Anything is possible when you believe in your own worth and take action to prove it. So, Martha Mock is a super confidence coach, multi award winning makeup artist, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and author. She creates super confident women and empowers them to use their knowledge and experience to build a profitable coaching business using her super effective result formula. She has a new book, Action is Proof, that is here. And I'm going to get Martha to tell us how to access that new book as well. So, Martha, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Such an honor.
Ah, awesome. So, let's kick off, Martha. I'd love to know just a bit more. I mean, what an interesting background. Makeup, confidence coaching, working with women. I'd love to know more about your journey and why you do what you do.
I always enjoy the fact that to make people feel happy and smile.
Yeah.
I'm not very academically smart, but I was good with my craft and my hand. And I thought that, you know what, marketing was my way to go because I thought that, I wanted to be like an artist in a way, but I worry that I'll become Van Gogh when I die. That's when I make my money. So I'm being very realistic there that I
Yep.
study marketing. And then after that, after I got a very serious depression and anxiety issue coming back working in Hong Kong. I
Wow.
was a supervisor in marketing since the age of 21. So the pressure that was on me was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I developed a source of anxiety and depression when I come back from Hong Kong.
Mm.
So the doctor advised me to, you know what, like go and take a part-time job, like to release some of the pressure. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm only 20 something. You want me to sit down and be a receptionist and watching Born and Beautiful? That's actually a little bit tough there.
Yeah.
So I end up picking up, you know what? I was always good with my hand. I'm always good with art. Let me try makeup. And
Wow.
who knows that within the first year, I won a first prize in my makeup
Oh
competition.
my God.
And then afterward, for 17 years this year now, I'm so grateful for my company to be one of the top 10 in Sydney that is recommended by the Australian
Amazing.
Bridal Industry Award.
Right.
So that was like all fluffy and happy, isn't it?
So that means
And then
you
COVID
can
hit.
even make me look good.
No problem at all. You're already good, so it's not a trouble. So, and then guess what, people? After 16 years, last year was 16 years, after 16 years of hard work, doing face-to-face stuff, loving my job, loving making people feel good,
Wow.
COVID hit.
Ah,
Wow.
oh boy.
A complete stop for a lot of us. And I'm pretty sure that I stay at home for about 2 months
Yeah.
and asking myself, what can I do? What can I do from here? Because my work, like our wedding industry, is completely affected. There's
Yeah.
no wedding, no getaway, no face to face. I'm like, what am I going to do?
Did you
All my
start putting
businesses.
makeup on the walls and doing all
Yeah,
that?
no, I was actually start cleaning, which is one thing that I really don't like to do, but I
Yeah.
start doing that, so I must having a problem. So yeah, and then during that time, lucky that I met my new partner, and my partner is also a coach. He
Right.
encouraged me to take up coaching. So I'm like, really, for someone like me that I don't have good written English, I don't have grammar, I can't really pronounce properly. Really, I can do that. All I need is a little bit of an action. Okay, let me try it. Who
Wow.
knows? After my training, within 10 days of launching my business, I got my first client.
My God.
In 3 months, I was able to scale up to 10K a month and consistently. So I'm like, oh, wow, all that learning that I have from building up my other businesses, I can use it into coaching other people. And people may think that, wow, like, she's so successful in her life and stuff like that. But they don't know 9 months before that, like, which is when I decided to go into coaching. No one knows about my story behind my
Mhm.
shiny, successful entrepreneur
That's right.
mask.
That's right.
I was someone just like you, some of you out there, a mom, a sister, a wife, and I was someone that who was in an abusive marriage for 19 years.
Wow.
That was really tough to admit, being someone that I thought that I was okay and successful. It makes me feel that vulnerability was weakness.
Hmm.
I didn't know that I can share it. So not until my 40th birthday, I asked myself, what do I want in life? I see women being happy every single weekend that when I'm working. When I look at their happiness, I actually feel sad and reminded myself how unhappy and unfortunate I am. But I was still too scared to speak up. I
Wow.
was too weak to leave.
Yep.
Not until my 40th birthday, I decided, you know what, enough is enough. I have to take this action. I didn't do it immediately, kick him out of the house or anything like that, but I take small action to prove it to myself that, you know what, I can do a little thing. I can save money, give it to my friends
Yep.
so I can actually save that money to move. I can do this, I can do that. Just every little bit actually help. And until the day finally come, one of my mentor actually helped me to actually get out of my marriage. And after that, I've become even braver because I feel like that, okay, if I can finally tell a few people about what happened to me, maybe they want to hear more about my story. So I was someone also who'd been bullied at school since the age of
Mm.
6. I have no friends. Everyone was turning against me. I think probably about 6, 7 years of eating your lunch and all the recess and everything alone.
Mm.
For teenagers, it could turn quite dark. And I'm quite grateful that I have mentor in my life to show me light. And I love people smiling. And I always put on this smile to people so they do not know that I was so sad inside.
Yep.
The hardest thing for me to admit, and coming from an Asian background, you probably know from my last name, is to admit that you've been sexually molested since a very young age.
Mm.
That was the toughest to say because I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I feel like I was the failure that no one wants to actually hear my thing. I was the greatest pretender. I pretend to be very happy. I
Hmm.
pretend to be very confident. I was doing a really good job at my work because no one realized it. But when the curtains close, when I'm lying in bed, when I'm thinking about how unfortunate I feel, that tears was actually accompanying me every single night.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it took me about 1.5, 2 years before I find my current partner. And you know what? After meeting all the scammers and things like that online, hey girls, you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure we've been there, done that. But guess what? If a 40, 41, 40, 40 years old woman that who's overweight, who doesn't cook, doesn't clean, that's in my profile, uh, and I can still find an amazing guy that who actually see me from who I am.
Amazing.
Guess what? We all have a bit of hope out there.
Well done. I love it. You put that in your profile. No cooking, no cleaning. I love
Yep, yep, that's actually my profile.
it. Wow. And so then, what made you decide, okay, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to become the confidence coach.
Yeah, I have to thank my partner for encouraging me for take up life coaching and to actually use my experience and knowledge in life to make it into another business
Hmm.
because that is really good. It's COVID free.
Yep.
You can use it anywhere. All you need is internet and Zoom. And trust me, I didn't even know how to use Zoom before June.
Yeah.
And I have to learn how to do all of that.
Yep.
But guess what? As long as you're willing to try and you have a belief that you can achieve something, you will actually do that. And that's how I started my
I love it.
business.
Yep.
And I'm so grateful for all the opportunity and support and connection and network that I built up during this time. And I look forward to actually share with people more and show people that you don't have to be worried about what other people judge you. It doesn't matter if you're introvert. It doesn't matter you're shy. It
Yep.
doesn't matter that you are those people who was like me that was worrying about telling our problem to people and we worry about like, we're troubling them. Guess what? There's so many people outside wanting to help. All you have to do was ask.
So true. So true. It's
Mm,
amazing. It's good that the culture now has developed in a way where this is so much more of the norm, and people are accepting other people's stories, and people want to share their stories because, as you say, there are so many people out there that want to help. But in the past, everybody just wanted to kind of hide behind closed doors.
Definitely. And the society make a lot of women feel that they should just do what they're told as a wife, as a mom, as a sister, as a daughter. You should just put your head down and just work.
Yep.
And shut up, and no one wants to know what you are. And you should put yourself last and put your family first. And from all these 40 something years of learning, I realized that the number one thing we should do as a human, not as a man or woman, doesn't matter, but as a human, we should look after ourselves first, because when we vibrate at our highest, our vibration to others are actually better.
I like
And
that.
it
I
took me
love
a
that,
long
that
time.
analogy, that metaphor. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it took me a long time to actually understand that, because I believe that when I was in depression and going through trauma therapy, and when people told me to have more self-love, I actually gave them a finger and said F off, because I believed that I was making good money. I was looking after myself. I can travel anywhere I want, whatever I want, but I wasn't happy. I didn't know finding true love is a true love for ourselves is actually finding the happiness of ourselves.
So
Wow,
true.
that was a big learning. And the more people I coach, the more I can see how happiness is actually easily attained as soon as that we realize what step we need to take.
Awesome. And that kind of brings me to a great question, is that I know that you're very big on taking action and you have to make that first step. So why do you think people tend to procrastinate so much these days? And do you think they procrastinate more these days than ever before?
I feel like that at the moment, a lot of us are affected by COVID, not just the one that who got it, but the people who is surrounded by it. They have actually, the big side effect is called loneliness, isolation, which actually makes them do not want to feel like doing anything. It makes them feel like that whatever effort they put out, it doesn't matter anymore because no one cares.
Yep.
And it causes a lot of procrastination. How comfortable it is to sit down in a couch eating a potato chips and watching Netflix.
That's right.
Come on, it's very comfortable,
Very
isn't
easy. There's so much good
Very
stuff on
easy.
Netflix these days.
I know, it's so easy, but you're supposed to actually do something to make yourself feel better.
Yep.
Like, because it's funny that I like to share this story also. My cat actually died earlier this year. She's been with me for 16 years.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't have kids because of my abusive marriage. I know I don't want to have kids. So she was everything that I had. And when she passed away, I went into a very sort of sorrow and grief. And it did take me about 2 months to pick myself up again. The worst that comes to it is that I know that 16-year-old cat, there's not much you can do. When they're sick, they're sick. It's their time, it's their time. She lived a beautiful life. And my ex-husband, actually, the one that who didn't contact me for 2-3 years, sent me a text and actually tell me off and blame me for her death and call me every name under the sun.
Oh my God.
So what happened was that it created a lot of triggers and fear back into me. Not until I actually took some extra step to actually say, you know what, I can choose to cry in bed until 3 o'clock, which I did one day, until 3 o'clock from like 9 p.m. at night, and then sleep all the way to 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Not until my cleaner coming to clean my house, I didn't want to actually wake up.
Wow.
I was just in that sort of sorrow, that sort of grief that I just don't want to move. Then the next day, after I got that text, I actually said to my partner and say, baby, can you actually feed the dog and cat so I can stay in bed for longer? He understand what I'm going through. So he was feeding the cat and dog. And then I'm like, when he left, I'm like, you know what? No, and no. So I'm going to get up and make myself a bacon and egg sandwich, have that. And then if I'm still tired, I go back to bed for 2 hours. And then when I got enough sleep, you know what? I started mopping and vacuuming. And remember in my profile, I say I don't clean.
You just said you don't cook and clean, but you just cooked and clean.
Exactly. I'm changing. So I'm like, wow, I only need to take a little bit of action that tiny little bit of movement, it make myself feel a lot better. One sentence that he used to tell me in my 19 years with him was that I was useless. And I take that little bit of step to tell myself, I don't care what he thinks anymore, that I am worth something. So it doesn't matter how shit you feel, if you just get up and do something,
That's
you
so
will
good. So true.
immediately feel better.
So true. And a really good point, because even during the heart of COVID, a lot of people were saying, you're working from home, doesn't matter, get up, get dressed like you would normally go to work, put on your makeup, put on your high heels, whatever, and once you take that action, it already changes your chemical balance, your mental chemical
Exactly.
balance, and you're ready to
Yeah, I
achieve.
completely agree with you.
Mm.
Completely agree with you. Even just like as simple as that, put on a lipstick for
Yep,
lady. Like
yep,
guys, put on a tie, put on a shirt.
yep,
You feel better. Doesn't
absolutely.
matter what you wear underneath. Like I have to be honest that I was wearing some fleecy underneath while on a really good top. It was nice and cold. So I got nice and warm feet underneath that you people can't see. But it was great and I still feel better. So
Yep,
taking that little bit of action, it really does
makes a big
help.
difference. Perfect. Yeah. So
Mm.
tell us, Martha, how do you work with your clients? Do you work with only women or men as well? And how do you generally work? How does your programs work?
Yeah, I focus on helping women, but I do have two male that is actually in my coaching team as well. Just
Hey,
because they're so
yes.
beautiful, I like to help them. I don't have like to me, race, gender, it doesn't mean anything. For
Right.
me, is we're all human. That's all. I don't care who we are, as long as they need help, I'm willing to help.
Great.
So my program actually helped them to identify the free spot in life that is stopping them from achieving the goal.
Nice.
A lot of people, when they get stuck, they ask the question of, how do I do it? I want a step-by-step guide.
Yep.
But what they don't realize is that they may have something that is holding them back, which caused them to procrastinate and be fearful of the
Mm-hmm.
next step to come. So it doesn't matter if I give you like 1 to 10, follow easy, simplest following step. If you got something holding you back,
Yep.
you won't move forward to that step.
So true.
Another thing is that people don't realize what are their target. What are their objective? What are their focus? What is the outcome they want? So they're like chasing and shiny objects. It's like, oh, that one looks good. Okay, I'll go and do it. Oh, this one looks good. Okay, let's be honest
Yep.
here.
No
How many online
strategy.
courses? Yeah, how many online courses did we buy and then are not actually doing anything?
So true.
So that happens. I'm one of those two.
Yep.
So it happens. So without that direction and objective, you don't know what the achieve is. So I help people by finding out what are holding them back, giving them strategies to move forward, help them to identify their objective. So we can actually minimize the noises
Yep.
and taking away that overwhelm. And because that a lot of coaches don't realize that being a coach is not just about teaching people. It's about networking, social media, understanding your technology, how to write your first ebook, all of
Yep.
that. I wish someone would tell me,
Yep.
honestly,
I
before I
know.
started it. I have to stumble across all of them myself. So I have developed a team of expert coaches to joining my program to
Nice.
give them some training. So it's like the all-in-one shop for new
Love it.
coaches to start their business and don't have to feel like that they don't have enough support.
Wow. And it's geared mainly to people who are already coaches that want to build a coaching business.
They wanted to have a coaching business. I actually coach a guy who does a trading business, because as a business coach, it doesn't really matter what business we want to. It's all about having that goal, having the strategy, knowing exactly what to do. So that's what I actually focus on as well. And I also do live coaching on women's confidence. And coming up next month, I'm planning to do that. It's actually about relationship. Like I said,
Hey.
if I'm someone who's over 40, overweight, doesn't clean, doesn't cook, and I can still find the man that is, I'm very proud to call my ideal partner. That's hope for all of us.
Fantastic. I love that. And how do you work? Do you work one-on-one? Do you work in groups? Is it mainly virtual on Zoom? Do you have
Yeah.
face-to-face meetings and workshops as well?
Yeah, luckily with technology these days, it allows me to reach a lot more people.
Mhm.
And most of my clients is actually overseas. That's actually true, not just
Wow.
in Australia.
Amazing. Great.
So yeah, I have people from India, UK, US, Scotland, all of those
Wow.
places to
Amazing.
actually South Africa as well. So all of those to actually combine, and it doesn't distance doesn't trouble us anymore
Yep.
because of technology. So we do most of our session in one-on-one.
One-on-one.
After that, they are allowed to actually join my lifetime program, which is a group program for every 2 weeks, and they can come back for a refreshment. I invite special guests to come in and talk about a different topic, so
Wow.
they can learn not just from me, but from all other people as well. And I
Beautiful.
believe that even we're coaches, we don't have to fight for people. Like we can all support each other and make
Yep.
our program better. So I will go into their seminar. If they need a speaker, I'll go
Yep.
in and help them. It's all about exchanging and helping each other.
100%.
And very, very soon that I've been wanting a little bit of workshop for like easy access for people on the 21st of March, Sydney time, which is I think next Sunday or the Sunday after, can't remember. 10 days. Someone told me yesterday was 10 days time. I was like, yeah, okay, let me work on my workshop on it. And yeah, it's good. It's all about having that. It's talking about how to become the super confident woman. It
I
doesn't
love
matter that you're an introvert, you're shy. It doesn't matter. All I wanted to do is to show you what I did, that proven strategy to actually starting to make yourself better. I don't believe in change just like that. We're human. We're not a switch,
no.
but they are little steps that we can take to make everyone better.
Beautiful. I love it. What a fantastic sounding program. And your new book, well, tell us about the book that you've just launched. Action is Proof.
Yeah, it was during the time that when my cat died, I
Mm.
told myself that I need to continue to work. I need to continue to do something. She knows that I'm in a good pace now. So I'm writing this book to honor her in her memory and to celebrate her. Don't worry, everyone, it's not about cat.
What was the cat's
it's
name?
it's Mui Mui. So she is credited in my
Okay,
book there.
great,
And
great.
thank you for her inspiration that she moved. Doesn't matter how sick she were.
Nice. Great. I love that. How cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
So inside there, there's action plan. There's little steps to follow to take actions, and it just helps you to organize. If you have a goal, once you have little steps that you can follow, it's easier than actually looking at things like a pizza. Like how many of us want to do 10 things at once? We all
totally
want
agree.
to. Yeah, but we can't because it's like stuffing yourself in a
Oh,
pizza.
absolutely. And for me, it's
Yeah.
like I'm so big on systems. If you have a
Mm,
good system and
mm,
you almost blindly follow that system, once
mm,
you've proven to yourself that that's the system that's going to work, and you've
mm,
dedicated yourself to you give it
mm,
enough time to work,
mm.
follow your system step by step, one at a time. Don't try and eat an elephant in 10 bites.
Oh,
And it makes such
definitely.
a difference if you can just do that.
Exactly. Like, cutting it into different slices so you can eat it at once.
Yep.
And that's what I would suggest to people when they get overwhelmed, because I am one person that who can get easily overwhelmed
Mm.
with all the sensitivity outside. So I'm like, okay, come down. Okay, look at my fishbone strategy. My fishbone, look at my fishbone and have a look at what do I need to do first. So it's simple, easy to follow step for people to want to start moving and get some goals in place.
Love it, love it. Have you got any good stories or case studies for us of people that you might want to share their story confidentially that have really achieved some great results with your program?
I would probably share that one of the ladies that I work with who have chronic depression,
Oh,
I started working with her for 4 weeks later. She finally realized how much knowledge she actually have.
wow.
And now after our program together last year, she already went into the second biggest political party in South Africa. And now
Man,
we actually have a non-profit organization together as well. There was
amazing.
one lady that I work with who has who been controlled by her ex-partner a lot because they have kids together.
Mhm.
She was even scared to go to supermarket to shop.
Wow.
So she haven't left the house for a good long time.
Wow.
And after that, after our training together, the fall session is normally the turning point. She started taking her kids out to the camping. It's and then talking with other women that is out there. And she said, I finally can get out of the house without feeling the fear.
Oh my God.
And that's just like, wow, I didn't know I have that sort of power to actually encourage people, because I thought that when with what I went through before, I thought that I was someone in silence. And now my mission is no woman to suffer in silence. Doesn't matter who do you think you are, what position you're in, we all got a story that we want to share. And if you can't find someone to share it with you, I'm very happy to be here to listen.
Amazing. And I think we were chatting just before we started recording
Mm,
about, you've just finished your master's NLP training. Do
yes.
you use NLP and hypnosis in your program, or what do you
Yeah,
do?
currently I'm actually doing more training in NLP that help to understand the human brain and how we actually process. And there was one really interesting process called the timeline.
Oh,
Timeline.
yep. I've heard
It's
of that.
actually
Timeline
not just,
therapy. Yep.
yeah, it's not like, in NLP is actually originally was just timeline. And then
Uh-huh.
now they change it into another subject called timeline therapy.
Oh, I see.
And what people say is like, what is it? And I tried it before. It didn't like it was sometimes some things work better for other person. But this time when I look at it again from a different angle, it was actually about the fear that I got when my ex-husband tried to come back and blame me for stuff. So I
Ah,
was feeling quite anxious and I was sensitive about people. I remember I was actually at like buying takeaway at a food truck. A guy was on the street talking on his phone very loud and swearing and all of that. And immediately I was holding on to my partner.
mhm.
And I feel my heart was racing. And I'm like, baby, something is wrong with me. I know that something is wrong. So I needed help. So I was doing this training and they did a therapy, timeline therapy on me. And it works out that that fear that I first got was actually not from him.
Mm.
It was actually from my own dad.
Oh my
That
God.
I remember it was even probably 3 or 4 years old. I was naughty and he stabbed me with a knife.
Huh.
And I can clearly see the blood gushing out from my hand. That was a vein was green and blue, and then the
Ah,
blood comes out.
oh my God.
So, what that therapy does was actually to ask yourself, what is the positive learning that you got from that? Isn't it sound ridiculous? How can you find any positive learning
That's
from
right.
your dad actually stepping on?
That's right. Yeah.
But guess what? If I can find positive learning on that, people have hope
Wow.
because I did.
And so what
At
was it? What
first,
was the
yeah,
positive learning?
yeah, it was a little bit tough at first, and then I probably started as, I'm a good girl. I'm not as naughty as what he think. I forgive him because now we still have a good relationship together, and I don't hate him for it. I forgive him for it. I was scared, but I wasn't that. And then afterward, the last one that came out was, I was in control.
Mm.
I was in control of the situation of because I can't go back to fix it. But what I can choose to do is I am in control of how I see that situation now.
Yep.
So if I see it as an empowering learning, something good that I learned from it, instead of letting it drag me and hold on to that fear,
Hmm.
that would completely change my life.
I
And
love
I'm
it.
like, wow, for the last 2 months, I feel like I was zombie because I was just whatever chuck in, I'll deal with it. Whatever chuck in, I deal with it. But I can feel the inside of me there was something missing.
Mm.
There was a fear inside of me that I can't explain. There's triggers on me that will hit on me.
Yep.
And I'm like, what's going on? I thought I was healed. So I talked to my trauma therapist. I talked to the people who can help me. I'm like, okay, we need to switch that off. And then once I did that therapy, I'm like, wow, that was amazing. That actually made me realize that I'm in control of my brain. I'm in control of my mindset.
Wow.
Not that I don't know that. I thought I know that, but another reminder never hurts. And then afterward, I texted my partner and say, baby, please do not call me that I'm controlling again because I need that control. And I'm not here to control you. I'm only here to control my life. So
Love it.
let's respect me on that, I need that control back. Because if not, if I can't control my life, I can't be the person that I want to be.
Yep. I love it. What a story, Martha. My God. I mean, it's so true. And I love the fact that you said once you go back and look at those situations in a different way, they don't
Mm,
become triggers anymore for future
mm,
anxiety, which is such a
mm.
powerful thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, amazing. So, Martha, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a fascinating discussion. Tell us how people can find you and work with you and learn about your new book and your programs?
Excellent. I will actually leave Daniel for Daniel for the link for my book there,
Yes, great.
so they can actually click into the link and actually download it. And
Perfect.
in the link there, there's a chances for you to book in a empowerment session with me. This one is normally a $300, but it's actually on me this time, so I can listen to you and you feel like that you're heard. So that's what I wanted to do for all your listeners outside, that
Amazing.
people are here to help you. All you need to do is ask and they will come.
Yep.
And it's not a weakness to ask for help. It's
So
a
true.
strength to actually ask for help. And I want to reward you guys for having that strength. And if you people look online looking for super confident coach, you will find me. I'm the first one on Google, which was actually very funny. When I wanted to do the confident coaching, I told my partner, I said that I want to be a confident coach. And then he said, why don't you call yourself a super confident coach? I'm like, really? I can?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
I'm a
love
bit
it.
embarrassed. Like, a bit shy there. Like, oh, I'm actually an introvert. I'm not an extrovert. So I'm like, oh, really? And then it took me 3 months to realize that, yes, it's actually really good. And then afterward, I found out on Google, because people who search super confident coach, I was the first one to come out. So
There
I'm like,
you go.
that's
Well
actually a
done.
benefit.
I love it. I love it. And so
So
I'll make
thanks to my
sure.
partner.
And obviously you're on LinkedIn. You have your
Yes, I'm on
website.
LinkedIn. Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll make sure that I put all the links to all those things and how people can find you in the show notes. So everybody
that would be
out there,
amazing.
please check out all those links to Martha. And she's a fantastic person. If you really want to help yourself with your confidence and with your procrastination, talk to Martha, because she's probably got all the tools and tricks to get you there as quickly as you can.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else you want to leave us with today, Martha?
I just wanted to let everyone know that doesn't matter what every situation you're in, you are in control. You can actually take that little bit of step, that little bit of movement to make yourself feel better.
So
You're doing it not just for yourself, but because you are a better person, the people around you are going to be benefit. So think about it that way. You will have the energy to move.
I love it. And I love what you said earlier. You said when you're vibrating at your highest level, you can give, it's the optimum situation for giving that vibration to other people.
Definitely.
If you're not vibrating at such a high level, you have less to give. So I think that's such a fascinating, adaptable concept. Awesome. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this discussion as much as I did. Martha, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we
Thank
wish
you so much for
all
having
the
me.
best of luck. And everybody out there, check out Martha's book, her programs, her links. And I'm going to put all those in the show notes for everybody. So everybody have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back next week with a couple more episodes of Playing with Perspective, the Suspended Animation Podcast. Bye for now.